All right, the UFC is getting right back in action with another fight night this week, this time down in Mexico, 8 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. Now, I like that not only is the UFC back-to-back cards again with these fight nights, but I like that back-to-back times we're moving the fight night out of Vegas, out of the Meta Apex. We're getting it back to the fans. Of course, it's not going to last. They're going to go back to the Apex soon, but we're still good to see them moving around with not just number events, but with the fight nights as well. That's about it as far as liking this card because it's not a very good one overall. Of course, there's a lot of local Mexican fighters, but not a lot of names that you're going to know, expect, or really want to bet on. So I'm just focusing on these top two fights. All right, now this card is headlined by a flyweight battle between Brandon Moreno and Loner Kavanagh. Now, Moreno was supposed to fight Asu Almabayev, but he pulled out earlier this month, and Kavanagh steps in there. Now, he was supposed to fight in a couple weeks, jumps up his date to be ready for this card, and now goes to Mexico. Kavanagh, the 26-year-old from England, 10-1 in MMA, only 2-0 in the UFC, still early in his career, coming off a second-round KO loss to Charles Johnson last August. So got his first loss in the big show, and now taking on a former champ in Moreno, a 32-year-old from Mexico in his home country. That's a tall task. The 23-9 in MMA is Moreno. Now, Moreno is 23-9 overall in MMA and 8-4 in the UFC, coming off a second-round TKO loss to Tatsuro Taira last December. So both these guys coming off the loss, looking to get into the mix here in this division a little bit more. Moreno's lost 3 of his last 5 fights. Now, Moreno is the big favorite here at minus 225. He is the fighter I'm going with. Kavanagh here, little experience, short notice, going against a former champion. I'm going to go with Moreno in his home country, home fans behind him. Now, I know, of course, he is on, a bad losing streak here, 3 of the last 5, but this is a different level that he's on and who he's losing to compared to what Kavanagh has fought so far. The book is playing to go the distance. They say yes to go all the way at minus 118 as the favorite there. They say over 4.5 rounds is the favorite at minus 136. And Moreno by points or submission is minus 125 as far as the double chance if you want to get a little bit better odds there. Take out just one way of it ending. But Moreno by submission is plus 390. And I think I'm going to zero in on that one a little bit to get some juicy odds. Points is the best way that they're playing it. They think he is going to win by decision. You got Kavanagh coming in here, short notice. Now, of course, he was training still, so I'm sure he's in good shape, but short notice against a guy of Moreno's stature and a big knockout guy going against a guy, Moreno, who could take him down, who could smother him, who could choke him out. It makes more sense for Moreno to take him down and just gas him out that way and get the submission than to stand and trade with a guy with a lot of knockouts. And he has 11 wins that way. So Kavanagh's inexperience and Moreno's great ground game. I think that is a much smarter play than expecting him to stand and trade and for it to go the distance. I'm taking Moreno plus 390 by submission, as well as him to win straight up on the money line. The other fight that I'm going to make picks for is that co-main event. That's about it, because these other ones, it's just too many unknowns, too many newbies for me to really lock my teeth in on some of those odds. And this other one, bantamweight, Marlon Chito Vera versus David Martinez. We're going to take a chance on the underdog, I think, because Martinez, a 27-year-old from Mexico, 13-1 in MMA, 2-0 in the UFC, 10 wins by KO TKO. Vera, the 33-year-old from Ecuador, is 23-11 in his MMA career, 15-10 in the UFC, lost his last 3 fights and 4 of his last 5. So obviously when you look at that, say, all right, well, Martinez is a big favorite there, minus 330. He's in front of his hometown fans. Vera's on a slide here, but I'm going to take a chance on Vera plus 240. They like it to go over the rounds. Over 2.5 is minus 430. 10 by points is minus 350. So if you get to a decision, it's anybody's game. You never know with these refs. You never know with these judges. So if you get to a decision, it could be up in the air. You never know with these judges sometimes. Of course, with them being in Mexico, you're going to assume that they're going to favor Martinez. But those losses for Vera that we talked about on his streak here, to Sahabi, his last fight, who was on a 7-fight win streak, to Figueiredo and O'Malley, who are former champions, and to Sandhagen, who's a perennial contender. He's not losing to newbies. He's not losing to guys in the middle of the pack. He's losing to guys who have held the belt. So Martinez, who's 2-0, is going to feel a lot of pressure fighting at home, who's inexperienced in the UFC. I'm going to take a chance with Chito Vera fighting a smart fight because he's a great striker and can battle like that if Martinez wants to throw down and trade. But the smarter play is for him to grapple, for him to take him down, for him to smother him like we're just talking about with Moreno. He has double-digit wins that way as well. So why not make a play that Chito Vera is able to neutralize his opponent a little bit, get him in the clinch, dirty box, keep it away from being a standing at distance and trading battle that Martinez wants, and maybe sneak himself a decision win. I'm not betting the house on it. I'm not making it in a bunch of parlays and stuff, but you're going to give me plus 240 on a guy who's fought for the title like Chito Vera, who's an experienced veteran who only loses to the best. I'll take a shot on that. The rest of the card in Mexico, sure it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, but I'm going to stay away as far as betting goes right now.